What's going on, people? Welcome to the live match reaction. Crystal Palace 0, Liverpool 1. Another game, unfortunately, another defeat. As always, if you do enjoy the show, make sure to hit the like button, subscribe if you're new to the channel, and leave down your thoughts in the comment section down below. Before we do get started, as you can see from the logo on the top right, this live match reaction show is sponsored by ComAve, where Crystal Palace fans win. You can also follow them on X with the pinned comment by clicking on it. If you can support them, that'll be much appreciated. They support the channel, they help the channel grow as well. They do exclusive giveaways. So ComAve is an e-commerce where Crystal Palace fans can win exclusive awards. So make sure to check them out, please, please, please. That'll be much appreciated. Hambo, another defeat. Another defeat.
Yeah.
But I'm not as mad. I think if
No.
we ended the game how we played in the first half, I would have been mad.
Mhm.
However, there were positives and some negatives that have been happening throughout the season, which we'll go into. But what do you make of it?
Yeah, I think you're right, really. I think the first half, even against a good side, they're top of the table for a good reason. They play a very different game than they did under Klopp. They're not quite as kind of gung ho as they were, quite measured, and then they just kind of change pace quite quickly. And that's what caught us out for the goal, really. So, I mean, but first half from us was just nowhere near good enough. There's no hiding from it. We did our best work in the first 20 seconds when Nketiah was offside by a very fine margin, but was offside. And I think after that, we just kind of let Liverpool have the ball. And it comes from an attitude. It comes from the players who were playing with a bit of fear and a bit of a lack of confidence. And you look at the bench and you can see Glasner is just he doesn't know why the players are playing so within themselves. It's not down to him. It's not. I mean, team selection today was exactly what pretty much every single one of us would have picked. He backed players who've been doing well off the bench, and he took the players out who haven't been doing so well. Even his subs today, he was decisive about it. He didn't let people stay on the pitch just through kind of reputation and necessity. He just changed it. He just saw where we were weak and changed it. So big plus points for Oliver Glasner in this particular game right from the off. But the team itself, the players have got to really take a look at themselves and look at the difference between the first and second halves and recognize that it came from standing off Liverpool. It came from showing way too much respect, not being tough enough. Liverpool systematically, rotationally failed us throughout the course of the game. That's why in the first half we struggled to get any momentum whatsoever. And until we sort of made some changes in both attitude and personnel and brought people on off the bench who would stick their foot in and rough Liverpool up and do the other side of the game, be a bit clever. Until we did that, we weren't playing any football at all. And I think we can be very aggrieved we didn't get something from the game for two reasons. We created excellent chances, which we should have scored two or probably at least two, and we were denied what was a clear penalty. Even on review from VAR, their reasoning was just nonsensical and frankly completely incorrect. There is no defence on this occasion for VAR not to give that decision. Nothing. There's no defence because they came out and stated their reason, and their reason was that the contact wasn't for long enough and it didn't change the nature of the chance. When the truth is, the contact started way before the kind of incident in terms of what Gay falling over, and it prevented him from getting them challenging for the ball. So in every way, it was wrong. So denied a clear penalty, missed some obvious chances. And you got Matthew Hayward saying he was nowhere near the ball. He was nowhere near the ball at the point he fell over. But the point is, he was hanging on to him way before then. He was holding his arm, like literally holding him by the arm, stopping him moving. So you can't say he was miles away from it because that's irrelevant. He wasn't able to get there because he was being held for a consistent period of time. So it's absolute horseshit.
Yeah, he can't get there if he's being held. That's the problem. And if it was anywhere else on the pitch, would that not be a foul? But I mean, with VAR, I spoke about it all season long. They've gone from one extreme to the other. At this point, I don't understand having VAR because I've seen so many decisions this season where they just don't want to get involved. And what is the need? Like, how many times? When has VAR actually changed a decision so far this season in the game? I can't remember. I know I don't watch every single game out there, but it's like now they don't want to be involved at all. They just don't understand it. They just don't understand it. They don't understand, yes, we got onto a VAR for decisions last season, but you just have to have a fine balance between the two. But a lot of people are calling into the show, so we're going to bring on the guests, and then afterwards we can speak about the game in a bit more detail. Let's see what you lot are saying. As always, if you do enjoy the stream, please hit the like button and also subscribe if you're new to the channel. That is much appreciated. Let's bring on Patrick first.
Hey guys.
How you doing, Patrick? You right?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Sorry, I'm a bit behind. What do you make of it?
Better second half. Not such a good first half. Being scared, like Hambo says. I think he brought the lineup out that we wanted, but I think it's time to look at a couple of players, particularly. If Wharton is carrying an injury, then you don't play him or you bring him off the bench because he just looks labored the last month. It's probably fair to say. His form to me is dipped. Maybe there's some adjustments other teams making, but those quick one-hitter passes, he's losing duels. He's turning the ball over. Not good enough. Eze, I call him the shadow because I don't know. Any other time, Eze's putting a couple of those balls in the net, but he's losing the ball. Continuation stuff. And Mitchell's crossing is awful. Like, does he even look up? He lost the ball continuously. Good defender, but just nothing going forwards. I don't know what he can do to who he could replace. I think with Wharton, you can replace him, bring him off the bench for a few games till he's up to speed. Mitchell, I don't even know who you would put over there. I mean, unless you believe in Jeffrey Schultz. But Eze, he's not going to bench. But something's got to be done. Mitchell's been pulled a bunch this year, but those three players in particular stuck out like a sore thumb to me. You guys give me your opinions on that.
Yeah, Mitchell was terrible at that. Well, that's the first word that came to my head. In terms of the crossing, I was there and I saw someone's crosses. It wasn't even like bad crosses. Some of them were just awful crossing. And that sub pretty much summed up what Glasner thought about his performance as well. But then again, we were talking about improving wing back options. This summer, unfortunately, didn't happen. Hambo, we saw a few times Mitchell making runs in behind and Eze not finding him. That's been a conversation. However, when he did have the ball, the crosses were not good enough.
Yeah, we talked about it last time we were reviewing, didn't we? And we talked about the fact that Munoz on the other side, neither of them were putting in a decent ball, and Mitchell is regressing in terms of an attacking wing back. He's, one-on-one defending, he's still exceptional. I would say he's, one of the best in a left back position in the Premier League, and I don't think I'm overstating that as a one-on-one defender. He's not great when he's overrun, and he struggles positionally as to know which positions to take up. But I think the biggest weakness in his game is being decisive on the ball. There was a moment in the first half where Sarr had come across from the right hand side and was just perfectly positioned between two defenders, and he was gesturing like he wants the ball, and Mitchell's got it at his feet, and the ball is simple. The ball is so simple. But by the time he sees it, you've had 3-4 seconds pass. And then he tries to play the ball and he gets it so wrong. I mean, it's on his strong foot, but he just kicks the ball straight to the keeper. It doesn't even go towards Sarr. I don't know what.
That's the one that rolled into the keeper, right?
Say again, sorry?
That's the one that's rolled into the keeper?
Yeah, exactly right. Yeah. And you just think at the top level, especially when you're playing a team like Liverpool, the fine margins that you're dealing with make something like that near unforgivable, and it's consistently going wrong. It's not like it's the occasional bad ball in. He's reluctant to put the ball in because he doesn't seem to have any belief in his ability to cross. And this is a player we've seen put in good crosses. He's got assists, and he can hit the ball as well. He's got really good technique on that left foot, but there seems to be a major issue with his belief and confidence in his ability to play offensively.
I just think he's better at a back four. I mean, I think what you're looking at, what we're being exposed to at the moment is the system itself. That back three might not be the way to go right now. I mean, I mean, I said last week, was it square peg round holes? Today was a little better in the second half, but highlighting those three, it might be just time to change up the system. I'm a novice when it comes to systems. I've been watching football since I was 4. I'm 48 years old. But for me, I never paid attention to systems. Just get the ball, put it in the net. Real simple logic. But I just think it's kind of obvious we're being kind of the coach. And he started making little adjustments today to it. And Ketia played all right when Mateta came back in. I just think there's still something missing. But with Wharton, I don't know if you guys are hesitant to talk about it, but his form the last month is definitely dropping. I think his confidence is too. He's carrying something because he hasn't won a pool in forever. There's no shame by putting him on the bench to come off the bench for a few games and let Hughes start, or maybe if you don't want to start Hughes because he can't play 90, then they go back to a back four. Chalobah played. I said this last week. Chalobah played midfield for Tuchel at Chelsea. Him and Lerma, if you're going to just stick with the two midfielders, that's not too bad. I mean, Lerma actually had a good passing day today.
Yeah, I think Lerma was the standout performance today for me in the Palace side. I think he was brilliant.
Him and Lacroix, I think. Yeah, Lacroix was.
Yeah, him and Lacroix. But yeah, I mean, Walton. I think discussions need to be had now in terms of what we do going forward. Because it's not a coincidence that people are talking about we were good for 15, 20 minutes. That 15, 20 minutes we were good for is when Will Hughes came on and when Walton went off the pitch. When you're playing a two-man midfield and one of the midfielders cannot even run, it of course has a massive impact. I mean, we're playing, 3 at the back, so we only got 2 in front of them, and and we saw it. He's struggling. I've been watching him all season long, even going to games, and I've been looking at his body language, and he just does not look 100%. I've got that in every single game that I've watched him. I haven't been to the away games so far this season, but whenever I've gone to a home game, he just looks knackered from the start. Like he just doesn't look 100% fit. In fact, I don't know if people caught it on TV, if you watch it on TV, but there was a point of the game, I can't remember if it was the first half, second half, his hand was just like near his leg. He was just holding something in his leg. Like he was just playing through an injury.
It's on the groin. It's in his upper thigh. It's on the groin. It's obvious better on TV. So why is he playing?
That's a question. That's a question. And I think he's playing because of the quality that we know he has. However, it is exposing us as well because he just can't run. He can't run. Yeah. And I'd rather he gets a few weeks off and gets proper rest. Well, now he will have a bit of rest. But yeah, we'll talk about the Forest game when time comes to it. But I think that's one thing that we're gonna have to look for. Look, Patrick, 7 games in. I think it's 7 now, right? Is it 7?
Yeah, 7 games, 3 points, not good enough.
Yeah, not good enough. Not good enough. But
I'm gonna leave with this real quick. I do think they should go to a 3-man midfield, and I don't know who would play on the left. I guess it would just be Eze, but I think we got to play with a 3-man midfield. I think because we have Kamada and not Kamada. I'm sorry, Lacroix and Gay. He could play the 2, and I don't know. He'd play right back. I guess Klein, but we definitely need to. I think we need 3 men in the midfield. But that's what the coach gets paid for. But guys, I've taken up enough of your time. Enjoy the international break, and hopefully we can get with Forrest, who's on really good form right now.
Yeah. Let's see. But thanks for calling into the show.
Take care.
That was Patrick having to say. We're going to go through the guests first to not keep them waiting as long. As always, if you're enjoying the stream, please hit the like button and subscribe if you are new to the channel. Let's bring on Andy next.
Hey guys,
Andy, welcome to the show. Another defeat this time around. What do you make of it?
First half was slow again, repeating ourselves every week. But I will say, second half, it took Will Hughes to come on and show a bit of intensity for everyone to go, oh, maybe we'll do that. So then the pick up. Nothing changed until Will Hughes came on.
Do you think that was on both, Walton? I know Hughes came on and he did change the game with his energy, but do you think that also falls on Walton not being 100%?
Yeah, you can tell he's not 100%. I agree with a few points Patrick made, actually. I don't know what we're going to do, how long Munoz is going to be out for, but we're going to have to revert to a back 4, I think. Can't go to a back 3. I can't trust Nathaniel Klein in a back three. That really scares me.
It was one of my biggest worries this summer, because we didn't seem like we were even trying to focus on another right wing back. I always got the sense that it was, Nathaniel Klein, you can play there. For me, with all due respect, he might be putting in shift 1 or 2 games, but he's not a right wing back. And the problem that you have, your wing backs are so important in the system because they provide width. If you have, Mitchell who's having a game like that, and then Munoz who's getting subbed off, you have no width. You have no width. It's so much easier to defend against because all you're expecting is through the middle. I mean, you can leave Klein open. We saw it many times, even when we were not playing in the back three under previous managers, where teams will just leave Joel Ward open. They'll be like, all right, go on, Joel Ward, put a cross in. And now we're seeing similar things where they can leave out wide open because the crosses are not good enough. If we had a proper, depth, and we had, let's say Mitchell today wasn't performing right. I know we brought on Klein, but let's say if we had another left wing back, which we might do in terms of one of the youngsters, so we can maybe look in that direction, then it gives us still another option in terms of someone can come on and still put crosses and they can be dangerous going forward. However, there's a drop-off. For me, there's a big drop-off in terms of when you bring Nathaniel Klein on the pitch to play as a wing back, then Munoz, I don't know how much of a drop-off it is from Mitchell because Mitchell hasn't been performing great. But that area in terms of depth is an area that, it is worrying, and he might need to change it. He might need to change the system. And I thought even during the game, we were just getting outrun in midfield. I think that's where it fell down to. When Hughes came on, Andy, as you said, that midfield got a bit more compact and there was, presence there. Whereas before, Liverpool just running through it. But in the second half, we did create chances. I just want to touch on that. Eze had one, and Nketiah had another one. Also a penalty shout. What do you think of the chances? It seems like, for me, I spoke about it in the preview. Eze, if he wants to make a move to a big club, he needs to start taking these chances because it just doesn't look good. He's had a few so far this season.
I had a pop at Eze last week. I'm going to try and hold off doing it again, but should be burying that chance that he had. When Mateta fed it through to him on the side and he just hit it first time, I don't know if he had time to take a touch again and then let the shot off because their goalkeeper was like, was he third choice? Weren't even second choice.
Fourth, maybe. I don't know.
We got to really test him. I don't know. I don't know. Yeah. Again, I don't want to jump on Eze's back all the time. It's unfair. Do
you think we saw with Mateta, he got dropped to the bench. Do you think it's a potential for Eze to be dropped? Is that a case based on his performances?
We got to have depth for that. No, I suppose you can play Kamada there. I mean, Eze's in the 10, so yeah, you can play Kamada there and we'll give it a go. As long as Kamada's not in the 6, I don't care.
That's the thing. As long as he plays as a number 10, I don't think a lot of people will be frustrated with Kamada because I think it's just the number 10 issue versus number 6. If he's a number 10, I think it's decent enough. But yeah, I mean, massive chances. But looking ahead now, we've got the international break, hopefully a bit of rest and more training as well. Munoz got subbed off due to an injury. Hopefully he doesn't go and play for Colombia. But for you, what needs to happen during the international break? Is it the attack, the defense, the system?
Well, it's not even Munoz going picked for Colombia. Wharton's picked for the under-21s. I really hope they just withdraw it. He's not the same. There's something wrong with him. He can't go for the under-21s. I really hope the club just have a firm stronghold on that and say no.
Yeah.
He's not fit. You can tell.
Well, according to reports, they're going to do a medical test. But like the fact that they're doing a medical test because he's been having ongoing injury, it's like just give him a rest. That's pretty telling already. If you watch him, even if you watch him today, he needs a rest. It's nothing to do. I don't want to be that guy and say, oh, forget all the, follow the old-fashioned way, forget medical tests. But you can just see it clearly. Like he hasn't been fit all season long. Why is he going to the England camp to do a medical test if Palace are saying that he's clearly not fit? Like, why would we be lying? He's just it's for the under-21s as well.
But there's two things going on because it's not uncommon for players to play through injury and to get injections to get through games and all that kind of stuff. But as I say, there's two things going on. He's definitely carrying that injury. But the second part is let's not forget, he had a very noticeable rise to prominence, and he was incredibly important in our good form at the end of last year. So teams know that. They're not stupid. He doesn't get the time on the ball that he did have when he first got into the team. He's a marked man, and he'll have one or two chasing him down, stopping him playing those killer passes. And also they've been looking at him and looking at the first time balls he plays. He like knocks the ball around the corner a lot and runs. His passing accuracy has plummeted in a Palace shirt this season, and that's not just down to him being unfit. It's also down to, you know, how he's been playing and the people around him as well. So I think taking him out of the firing line for fitness reasons is a good idea, but also taking him out of the firing line so he can just, you know, get a bit of time to think about his game. And he's a very smart guy by all accounts. He studies his game, watches his own performances, and I think that's part of the problem as well, in that he's very down. You can see him; he's very down on his own performances. He's not arguing about being taken off. He's clearly aware that he's tired and struggling. So I think, you know, the point that Andy made about depth when we're talking about Eze is the same in the centre and midfield, because of the type of player Wharton is. We don't have others, but we do have people who can do a different kind of job, and maybe in a different system. So it's a very, very difficult situation. We have very high expectations of Wharton for good reason, but he's a young kid and probably needs a rest, and that's pretty much all there is to it.
Yeah.
Well, I did read that Decore is close to being back around the international break.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
Remember when Decore and Wharton played alongside each other for the Chelsea game, and look at the second half that we had against Chelsea. I mean, Decore, look, when you're playing a two-man midfield, you need everyone at 100%. I guess you need everyone 100% at all positions, but the midfield is very important. It is very important. We only have two players there. One of them, if one of them is not 100%, which we've seen with, for example, the likes of Kamada struggling defensively when playing alongside Wharton, you just essentially have one man in midfield against three majority of the weeks, and you get overrun. So you need them at 100%. Wharton wasn't 100%, and when Hughes came on, that is what made the difference, because we finally had someone who was ready to play. He was fit enough, and he had the energy, and we kind of got a bit more of control and create chances. So yeah, I mean, we've got the bit of a break now, so you know we can focus on things like that and hopefully give these players a bit more rest. But Andy, look, thank you for calling into the show. Hopefully, as far as we can bounce back, but a little break now to work on things before that game, anyways.
Cheers, guys.
Take care. That was Andy having his say on the game. As always, you can as well by clicking on the link. The link will be posted once again once we go through the guests. Let's bring on Henry next, who was at the game. Henry, another defeat, 1-0 to Liverpool. You didn't seem happy in the comment section. I saw a few of your comments. What did you make of the game? I think in particular, he was upset with Eze. You're on mute. Oh, I can't hear you. Oh, no, you're not on mute. I can't hear you. That's a bit weird.
Now is on mute. Henry,
now
come
you
back
are
on
on mute.
mute.
Now you are. Yeah, you are on mute.
He
Now
lied
back
to you
on mute.
initially. There
Yeah,
you go. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, about time. Bloody hell. That kind of sums up Palace, really. So, like, today took so long to get going, just like I did with my mic there. But, like, that just sums it up, really. Yeah, I am pissed off. I'm fed up, to be honest. Like, that just wasn't good enough by any means. Like, the performance on the... I mean, I know people talk about second half a lot better than the first. I think that's a little bit exaggerating a bit, because I only think the last 15 to 20 minutes was a lot. But basically, Hughes' injection of energy was massive.
Were we not better when Hughes did come on there? That last 15 minutes.
That's my point. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Though. Yeah, Hughes made a massive impact when he came on, but I just don't understand how we are getting such basic fundamental things wrong, such as passing. Like, our passing accuracy is shocking. And please, I can't get my head around why every single goal kick has to be taken short. Like, I'm all for this, playing out for the back, but do it within reason. Stop doing it every time. You have to mix it up a bit. This is the problem that we have. And well, a lot of teams have in modern football, is the inability to switch the tactics up sometimes. You can't just always go short, and then, especially against teams like Liverpool who press you hard, and teams like Liverpool who actually have the ability to do that, like because they have far better players and far better composure. Why do we have to take goal kicks short? And it just makes it so hard to progress the ball forward. Like, it's just ridiculous to me. And the way that we just squander possession in the midfield, or like, it's just I'm so tired of watching it. It's just I just don't get that at all. I thought Ebbs was. I don't know what's going on with Ebbs right now. I think just a little bit like the whole team. I think it's a crisis of confidence, or at least a huge dip in confidence, because you can see that he's, everyone knows how technically gifted he is, but when he has the ball, he's really hesitant. It's almost like he doesn't know what to do. And I think part of that is a lack of support from around him. I think we're not giving him enough support. We're putting too much pressure on him. But also, he's just not the same. He's just not the same, and I don't know why that is. I don't know if he's struggling to fit in with the new players. I don't know whether he's just suffering from a dip in form or a lacking of confidence, or a combination of the two. It's a little bit worrying. And that chance, honestly, when he missed that chance, I actually sank from my seat and buried my head underneath my seat, because it's not just that he missed, it's that it was so tame and so weak and so it was so much. You just expected so much more from him in that position. At least test the keeper. At least make the keeper make a somewhat difficult save. Don't just hit it meekly towards his hands. I mean, it's just I don't know. It's just worrying right now.
But the thing is, as you said, we did have chances though. That's the thing. We did have chances. So,
but I think Liverpool had more. When you look at the whole picture of the game, I think they had the majority of the chances. I mean, I haven't looked at the stats, but I think that's what you probably find if you look at the numbers.
yeah.
We did have chances, but how many weeks can we keep saying, "Oh, we made chances"? If we don't take, that's the concern.
Yeah, it is quite windy where you are, Henry. So we're kind of losing the audio a bit. But look, thank you for calling into the show.
Okay.
And we've got a bit of time to rest, and then Forest, another massive game, and hopefully we can
Huge
keep us
game.
on.
At least we can't lose next week.
Yeah, exactly. All right, then take care. That was Henry having his say.
Wow, that was yeah. I don't know where he lives. It's obviously up very high.
That looked like West Norwood Station. So I think
Yeah, and I think he said I think it was West Brompton, but yeah, either that or he's gone to West Bromwich, which anyway would be troubling. But yeah, definitely windy. But he was making some interesting points. He's obviously very frustrated, D. But I wanted to kind of pick up on a couple of things there because, well, not a couple of things. I wanted to pick up on the Eze chance because I know in the chat a lot of people are very down on Eze as well. It's interesting. Craig, the Liverpool fan in there, was sort of saying you need to get help into Eze, and Henry did touch on that a little bit as well, because that is the truth of it. Eze at the moment is trying to do a little bit too much, and you got to say psychologically that must come from not quite having the same trust in the players around him that he had last year. And just trying to influence the game too much. And I don't think that's where he's at his strongest. I think he's always going to be a player that drifts in and out of the game. But anyway, the point being, on the chance that he had, he telegraphed it. He knew, like, he had the picture of what he was going to do in his head before he did it. Like, it was over. He was clear. He was always going to need to take that chance on his right foot, but he's running left side. He's waiting for the pass from Mateta. And Mateta, by the way, being rested and coming off the bench made him the player he was last year. He was sensational when he came on, in my view, and it shows the value of resting a player. But anyway, his ball to Eze was excellent. It is a fraction light, I think. I think because he played it a little slower than Eze was anticipating it, Eze just got his feet. The feet were in the right position, but the timing was wrong. And I hope people who played a bit will know what I mean by the fact that the timing is wrong. He's done all the right things. He's in the right position, but because the ball's not come to him as, it's fractions. You're talking millimeters. You're talking the tiniest amount. It's like going up for a header when you get the timing wrong is really noticeable because your head goes in one direction and the ball goes another, and you're just like, oh, that's weird. But when you're trying to finish with the side foot, he's just putting it around the keeper, so the keeper can see a mile off.
I would have rather. I know hindsight's a great thing, but I would have rather he went wide and tried to go for the corner than shoot at the keeper. But then again, Amber, I think it falls down to confidence as well. The people were talking about passing not being great. Eze was one of those at times in the game as well. One of those players where his passing wasn't as great and his decision making wasn't on point. So, there's going to be a lot of focus on Ebbs naturally because he's been, a player that's been linked with a move to the big clubs. And I've said it pretty much during the game, before the game. If he wants that move to a big club, he has to take his chances. He's had good chances this season, but he hasn't took them. Had a similar one against United, didn't take it. Today, decent chance, not good enough in terms of the shot, straight at the goalie. So yeah, I mean, Nketiah had a chance, but he was not really on his feet. He's kind of leaning back. It was a ball from Mateta to Nketiah. But that's the thing. We did have our chances, and that happened after the subs. And that is why I think a lot of focus also needs to go on that Wharton injury and whether, he should be starting games and also on the system as well. Because in the first half, we can talk about it. I don't want to keep Tim waiting. He's been waiting for a while.
Okay. I've got Glasner comments after that if you want.
Yeah, no worries. Sam, thank you for the super chat saying Mitchell was awful hard to watch. I think Glasner agreed with you as well in terms of making that substitution. And I was surprised by that because he was having a bad game, but I didn't expect Glasner to make the sub, which kind of says how much of a bad game he was having. But yeah, let's bring on Tim, and then afterwards we'll go to Glasner's comments. Tim, disappointing defeat. You was doing a watch along, of course. Talk to me about it. How do you see it from home?
So thanks for those who were bearing with me because I was getting the audio while Alex was doing the video, and we were going back and forth. It's tough, man. But I wanted to come on mostly to echo some of the things I heard already about Will Hughes, and I wanted to run something by you both to see if this makes sense. I said this with Alex as we were ending the watch along, that I fully agree. In that first half, it sounded like we were playing scared. Really just, didn't really have any impetus in the game and very scared. And then Will Hughes comes on and plays with confidence, ability, forward, and lifts everyone, I think was what Andy was saying. I think that's right. So my view of this is that's the guy who's leading the team right now. I think Will Hughes is the guy that is leading the team right now because when he's come on in every game this season, now please tell me where I'm missing something here. But every time he's come on this season, when I've seen him, we suddenly start playing better. I know he loves the yellow. He's got 3. So,
I think that's a big problem though, Tim.
I know it is a
games, and if you get early yellow cards, which we saw against Chelsea, it can mess you up. And I think
I know
that's been one of maybe that's Glasner's thinking in terms of not starting Hughes. For me, I was fine with Lerma starting because alongside Wharton we had a bit of balance. But yeah, I think the point is Hughes does come on and impact the game, but again with Wharton, he's playing through the injury, so it was both the combination of Wharton struggling and maybe staying on a bit longer than he should have, and who's having that energy and that fitness. Despite that, I mean, he came on and still picked up another yellow card. So it doesn't really matter if you start him or not or don't. He still manages to pick up a yellow card.
Yeah, I don't know if
But-
he. I mean, I think he may also get a yellow card on reputation from time to time too. But having said that, I mean, he's got 3, and he's not going to get clear until game 20. So he's probably got a suspension in him here sometime in those first 19 games. That's probably coming. But I mean, that makes a huge difference. It's not. I don't know that it's just the passing or the formation. It is, and Glasner has preached this. I'm not sure I'm capturing what you said correctly earlier, Hambo, but I don't put this on Glasner at all. I think that he wants his team to play with belief. Did that team play with belief today? I don't think so. Not in the first half. The only guy that brings that belief is Hughes coming into the game. And so what I love about him is, you remember, I'm sure you guys remember this. He spent a lot of time, before he ended up retiring. One of my favorite Palace players of all time, James MacArthur. He spent a lot of time with Will Hughes. Those two guys are really joined at the hip. He looks like him now. I mean, he's a little less disciplined than Macca, but he plays like him. He's playing like him now, and we need that desperately. That's the point that I wanted to make. Like that. So I don't know how you get that kind of, somebody on the pitch early who's going to give you like the spine tingling tackle, something that says, why are we backing off? What is the matter with us here? And then changes the mentality so that now you're back to parity. You still may lose, but you're back to parity.
Look, I think the system as well. I think it's healthy to have conversations about the system. Essentially today, when especially in the first half, I noticed this a lot. Nketiah wouldn't press, because when Nketiah did try to press, because of them having an extra play in midfield, they'll just give it to Konate. Nketiah, let's say Nketiah press Konate. Then Konate will just give it to Van Dijk, and then Gravenberch will have it. So they just went around that. And that is down to having 2 players in midfield and one of the players in midfield not being 100% fit. And in that aspect, when you're looking at the amount of players that we had in midfield compared to this, I think that is more of like a system problem. The thing is, which I really wanted to talk about, is now the big question is, we sign all of these players designed to play in a back 3. If you go to a back 4, what happens with Guéhi, Lacroix, and Chalobah? Because all of these players are good enough to start for Palace and start in defense, but it puts Oliver Glasner in a very awkward position. However, I do think if you're playing Wharton anyways, if he's not fit, then you do have to have an extra player in midfield, because it's not simply good enough. But do you think that Glasner should or will change the system? Yeah, let me ask Hambo as well before.
I don't think he will. I think in during games, he's not averse to shifting to a back 4, but I think we'll usually start with a back 3 and wing backs. But interestingly, I think the Mitchell situation is going to get him thinking more than the midfield situation. By the way, I do agree that today we needed an extra body in the centre of midfield against Liverpool, and I think probably a more pragmatic manager, and this is not a criticism of Glasner, I'd rather take his attitude than the pragmatism we had to deal with from others. But a more pragmatic manager would have sacrificed a forward player for an extra player in the centre of midfield, and then asked at least one of those midfielders to do more of a box-to-box breaking kind of job to get involved. So you might have started with a Hughes, Lerma and Wharton situation, with Water sitting with Lerma and Hughes being asked to get forward and support as well as sit back. So, but I don't think changing the back is the way to get us that extra body in midfield, because I like the back 3. I just think we should have something on the left side, in terms of a left wing back. That's what we should have, and we don't. But can I just go back to Hughes, because I think Tim's made some excellent points in there, and I think talking about Hughes, everyone's talking about the bookings and things like that. But I think as well, we cannot forget that Hughes, did suffer a severe injury earlier on in his career that does impact him. It impacts him in training hard, and it impacts his mobility in games. He isn't the kind of dynamic player he used to be, but he's been excellent under Glasner. But we have to temper our expectations a little bit there. So that kind of 90-minute joke about he'll be sent off before the end of 90 minutes. It's also, you play him 3 games in a week, and you lose a lot of the dynamism that he brings.
Yeah.
So seeing him off the bench, it's a little bit like seeing Mateta off the bench today and go, oh, it was a mistake to drop Mateta. It wasn't. He came off the bench fresh with a point to prove.
Yeah.
And that was fantastic. And Hughes is the same. He came off the bench with a point to prove. But they're getting to the final point that I wanted to make, and I missed who it was. I think it was someone, Millsy or someone like that, in the chat, who said it was criminal selling Anderson. And that gets me to the point about Hughes, which makes him all the more important. Lacroix is a better player than Joachim Anderson. 100%. Looking at him after a few games, the trajectory he's on, he's an astonishing centre back, but he is not the same in terms of leadership that Anderson had.
Right.
And we've taken a leader out of the team and we haven't replaced him. And Hughes really is that. He is a leader. You're right. He's a MacArthur. He not only does he speak, but he also shows by doing. He shows the right attitude, and that's why we like him. But he's also played some absolute dog shit games and been awful, and we shouldn't forget that either.
Yeah.
So it's you take the rough with the smooth, don't you? And I think it's really easy to say what we should have done after we were off the back of a defeat, but we lost 1-0 to a good side today, and frankly, off the back of the second half, we shouldn't have done. And I'm not going to tear anybody apart. There were some poor performances today, but overall, that improvement in the second half shouldn't be ignored. Even though Henry was right, it wasn't the whole second half; it was when Hughes came on.
Yeah.
So does that cover it?
Yeah, I'd agree with that. Can I ask one more of both of you guys? Because Sarr moves to right wing back, right, with Munoz injured, and I didn't see it, but did not seem to disgrace himself. So do you expect to see, depending upon what the situation is with Munoz, do you expect to see more of it?
I'd like to see more of Sarr than Klein at right wing back, because I think Sarr would offer more going forward. And as I said, when you're playing in the back three, the wing backs are essential for your system. They provide the width, and that is the thing. When Klein did come on, I don't think he had a bad game, but he's not threat. He's not a threat where Liverpool have to look at him and be like, oh, we have to stop Nathaniel
Well,
Klein.
he was when he was at right center back, but not at right wing back.
Yeah, wing back is different. Wing back, you're essentially saying you need to go up the pitch, and you have Sarr or whoever's as the 2 number 10s playing a bit more narrow centrally, and then you have your wing backs as options out wide where they can put the balls in the box. And that is why Mitchell did have to get subbed off, because he wasn't an option. Every time the ball came to him and he had to cross the ball into the box, he couldn't do that job. And it was so much easier for Liverpool to defend. So I think this goes 2 ways. He either changes his system or he makes a bold move. Focusing back on left wing back, or he makes a bold move and starts Ume, because that was the talking point, right, in the summer, that he wants to play Ume at left wing back. Why
That'd
not?
be interesting.
Why not? Why not? I'd rather 100% have Ume at left wing back over Nathaniel Klein.
Well, the beauty of that, I mean, I'll tell you, if I see that, I will be, the natural pessimism of my Palace fandom will kick in, and I will be like, good God, I've seen this guy play positionally in terms of his defensive positioning, and I hope we don't get caught out. So I'll be scared, but I'll also be excited because Tyreek Mitchell cannot take on a player, and I know that Franco Ume can.
Yeah, exactly. So why not? Why not? If you do want to keep the system, the width is important. It's very important, especially Munoz is out injured as well. Munoz at least provided something. If you don't have Munoz there and you start Mitchell and Nathaniel Klein, we are finished. We are finished. I'm expecting nothing against Forest because that system going forward is not going to be good. They're just going to control the game. Because
I'm not against chucking an academy player in there, and Ume's a good player, all right, and he's been really being worked on in that position.
Yeah.
But you need in that position, what you gain, you have to remember what you lose. So what you lose is whoever's in the center of midfield on that side is got to get their shit together covering, because that's you're going to get caught out. He's going to, but I'm not saying that's the wrong thing to do. I'm saying that it changes your system. It changes what you do. So let's say Lerma's sitting in that position. Well, Lerma's primary focus is going to be covering behind, but maybe it should be anyway in terms of when Mitchell gets forward.
I mean, he can do that. He can do
Yeah.
that, Hambo. We've seen him do it before.
But absolutely right. But you've got to have somebody with him. You've got to have somebody with him talking him through the game. When Mitchell first broke into the side, even when Wan-Bissaka first broke into the side all those years ago, he had Tompkins next to him. Tompkins got us 50 million quid for Wan-Bissaka just by the fact he talked Wan-Bissaka through every single game. I'm not against the idea. I don't think it solves all of our problems. And frankly, I'm not one to throw, to be ultra cautious, but if we don't have Munoz, and with Mitchell on the trajectory he's on, I would start Klein left next game, and I would start Sarr at right wing back.
I don't think that
and just go with that.
But I think we need to take the bold move now. If we spoke about academy players and those players getting opportunities, which clearly Glasner wants to ease them in, and that is understandable. But we also need to win games, and we need to try something different, because Klein for me, even at right wing back, is a problem. Left wing back, you're expecting Klein to put crosses into the box with his left foot.
Well,
He
got forward.
What's going to happen is he's going to cut from the left hand side to the right, and that width is gone. So me, it makes more sense to. All right, Mitchell's not playing good. He's out injured. Let's say Mitchell's out injured, or he's not playing good. Ume, this is the reason why we kept you at the football club. Let's see what you can do.
Listen, I'll only say this in response, that the best left-footed cross from that side during the course of the game came from Nathaniel Klein. On the overlap, down by the byline, got a good left-footed cross in the box. Only one, but it's one more than Mitchell managed the entire time he was on the pitch. Yeah. And as I say, Mitchell had a lot of opportunity to play decent passes. Again, I feel bad, and I said this in the back of the Nest WhatsApp group, where the trouble is, the problem I have with Mitchell is I don't think it's an ability issue. I really don't think it's an ability issue at all. I think it's a confidence issue again. But I feel like Mitchell will be 34, and I'll still be saying, yeah, look, he's getting better. He'll come good. He's got all the attributes he needs to be able to play left side and overlap. And it's like the whole, Dwight Gale will get there with being a Premier League striker thing, and he never did. And I think Mitchell, my heart says he can improve and he can do it, and he just needs somebody pushing him. But my head says maybe it's a ceiling for him, and he'll never 100% do it. He's a great defender, but on the ball, not quite got it at the highest level.
Well, and is he? This is what seemed. At least this is as how I heard the commentary. So I guess this is a question for you: is that partnership between Mitchell and Ebbs is not there? It's at best wobbly. And so if that's true, then that would explain for me a little bit why Ebbs feels like I can't trust him. I can't play a partnership with Ty. So I'm gonna see if I can dribble through, and then he loses the ball.
That is not healthy, though. You cannot do that.
No, you can't. You can't have that.
It doesn't work.
So
the system just doesn't work like that.
So if that's true, then that does make your point, D. Then it argues for who is the right partner for Ebbs, or if it's or do you have to play Kamada there? Like, you have to do something.
It didn't used to be the case, though. I will say that. Like even last year, like people have always, one thing has happened. People have always trusted Mitchell with the ball, and he's never sort of shied away from it. And until this year, and it's, I don't think it's just Eze as well. I think, again, he takes really good positions, but people don't always look for him because, the end result isn't great. And I don't know. It is concerning, but I feel like
Yeah.
we've been really, really negative about, we ran Liverpool close. We really did,
Yeah.
and it's because we've had such a hard time prior to this game. If we were sitting comfortably mid-table, we'd be looking at this game. Oh, that was close. We should have had that penalty. Oh,
Yeah.
but we're not. We're down on our team.
I don't
But
think it's only
today,
that though,
good effort.
Hambo. Of course, if you're
Mm.
finishing mid-table, I think the biggest difference would be probably Mitchell's having a good season and Eze, is taking the chances. So that's why we'll be mid-table. But these are ongoing issues, and I think that is the real reason for concern. It's like Eze and Mitchell down the left-hand side. It's just not good enough.
Yeah, it's not working.
Whether Eze doesn't pass the ball to Mitchell, whether when he does, Mitchell's crosses are poor, it's just not working. And I think that is the reason for the concern down the left-hand side. However, I mean, it wasn't awful despite these. This is the thing. We can still improve. There are differences that we can make. We can still improve. And despite that, today, we could have scored a goal if we took our chances. Like, we had decent opportunities where on another day, or if players were in form, we could have scored a goal.
Well, I'll
But,
give you a very frustrating stat, D. I find this to be an incredibly frustrating stat. So total shots, Liverpool 16, Palace 9. Shots on target, Liverpool 4, Palace 5. So we put more shots on target, but don't take our chances. That is poor.
Yeah,
That's
you
poor.
have to take your chances, and that's the thing. And we either change up. Look, I did speak to Jules from TNT Sport, and she interviewed Glasner, and she did say to me that when she asked a question about the defense about Chalobah, she basically said along the lines of, she asked a question about the defense, and he replied saying, look, we haven't had an opportunity to kind of play this defense because Chalobah's been out injured, but I think what he basically referred to her is that, this is what we do want to do going forward. Chalobah, Guehi, and Lacroix in defense, which is not a major surprise. But then if you do that back three, then I wonder what happens with the wing back options, whether there's a bit of flexibility there. But I think, Chalobah today maybe could have done a bit better for the first goal, even though the player, I think, did come in from behind Jota. So I know when we're watching on TV and on replay, it's like easy to say, Chalobah could have done a bit better. But when a player's coming behind you, it's still his fault because he should be looking over his shoulder. But those mistakes are like, you can easily have that. It's a good run in from Jota from behind Chalobah to front of him to finish that off. I think it was like that anyways, the goal that conceded. But yeah, look, Tim, thank you for coming on the show. Thank you for the watch along as well. But we'll catch up. Also, before you go, Raksaki just had his second goal for Sheffield United today.
Nice. I love it. Can I give you another real-time update?
Yeah.
Hudson Edward.
He's had a second goal, which raises probably more questions whether it should be recalled.
I wonder if he should be recalled. But Hudson Edward in for Leicester right now, leading 1-0 over Bournemouth.
So, is it?
Yeah, he just came on for Jamie Vardy. So Eddie is on now.
So everyone that's not Palace are enjoying the time. Must be fun.
Unbelievable. All right, look, guys, I'll let you go. Good to see you. Take care. Up to Palace.
See you later.
Tim.
Go on. Sorry.
I said cheers, Tim.
Oh, okay. I thought you said
something. I can carry on as well if you like.
Yeah. Should we quickly go to Glasner's comments? I know you had a few up and
so I'll just take it off the Palace site. Really, he said that I think we deserve more in the end. Although there's a few Liverpool fans pretending to be Palace fans who might disagree in the chat. He said, I think we deserve more in the end. In the first half, we could see how good Liverpool are, how quickly they move the ball. We had a great start with the offside goal, and then we had problems, and they had the lead. They deserved the lead at half time. And I think we can all reflect on the fact that we could have been 3 or 4 down at half time, and we couldn't have complained. I think that's probably fair, right?
Yeah.
He said, but the second half gives me a lot of confidence. We created chances, and we were also good in defending. I think we must get a clear penalty for us. Marcus held with 2 hands, but we have to accept it. We have to accept it, but we shouldn't have to accept it. It was a clear penalty. Everybody knows it. Second half performance for me was the best in the season and gives me confidence despite the disappointing result, Glasner has said. Of course, we're playing for results and it was a disappointment, but I also told the players right after the game that we build up on this. I've experienced in my career being 1-0 down and Liverpool playing like they did in the first half, you can leave the pitch 3-4 or even 5-0. But we came back and got close to the draw. We didn't get it. It's tough, but at the moment it looks like we invest, we fail, we invest, we fail, we invest, we fail. You said that 3 times. The only way to get the turnaround is to invest, and stay together and work. I'm not sure entirely the translation works here, but I think it's just about working hard and continuing to work hard, and you will eventually get your rewards. But he's confident we'll get the turnaround and that we'll get the wins because of the quality we have. And I think, again, we can kind of all reflect on the truth of that we were lucky to be 1-0 down at half time.
Yeah.
And however you view things, or whatever you view the reasons that Liverpool didn't get any further ahead, the penalty that wasn't given, the chance for Ebbs that didn't get taken, are 2 clear chances that would have changed the game. There were others,
That's the thing. We were lucky to only be 1-0 down, but also unlucky. Well, not unlucky. I'm not going to say unlucky about that, but we should have took our chances. We should have. I mean, that's the issue. That's the issue. Not taking our chances, especially in the second half. But we were lucky, of course, in the first half to not be more than 1-0 down. And we've got another international break, and I look forward to these lately. Because not only is it time just away from Palace, but also a time for players to rest up, for players to get going again. I mean, last international break, after we came back, we finally ended the record of the 13-game winning streak of Chelsea against us. And this international break, I don't remember the last time we beat. Actually, we beat Forest recently, but at their ground, have we beaten them yet? I don't think so. I can't remember having a win at Forest ground since they got promoted. I remember under Vieira, Zaha missed that chance. Well, not that chance, the penalty. And that was a terrible game. I don't remember any wins. I don't remember any wins against Forest.
We certainly haven't beaten them. I mean, I'm trying to think. I'm trying to think back to. We beat them. Obviously, we beat them. Well, hang on, I got that wrong. Give me 1 sec. We haven't beaten them since the 10th of December 2011.
Yeah.
So there you go. So that gives you your answer.
Exactly. So we have to try and break that record. We have to try and break that record and get over the Elise thing. It's tiring talking about Elise. There's still enough talent in the squad to get results. 100%.
Yeah.
There is. But for one reason or another, it's just not working. And Glasner did mention as well before the game that he does not understand why Eze hasn't been called up to the England squad. With all due respect, I completely understand why he hasn't. He
did
that,
say what? Go on, carry on.
So and he did also mention about a potential rest for Eze because he's only had 10 days of preseason with the team and jumped straight back into the squad and has been playing a lot. So hopefully this international break he can get rest, get on a private jet, go and fly to Barbados, soak in the sun, and then travel to the Forest and just be depressed because he was in Barbados a week ago and now you're playing the Forest.
There you go.
But
Eze apparently did comment on the fact that he feels he's missed too many chances, and then that was pre-game,
well.
and then obviously goes into this game and misses another big chance. So again, I think that shows you everything about the psychology of it, really.
Yeah. Look, we can't feel sorry for ourselves. We are in this position. We have to bounce back. There are still positives in this team. Like we're not getting thrashed 4-5-0 every single game, not creating chances. And there are some concerns as well. But those concerns, as we've discussed it, we can work around that. Whether that's a system change, whether that's personnel change. For example, from my takeaways from this game, you don't start Adam Walton against Forest. As good as of a player he is, you just don't see the best out of Adam Walton if he is not 100% fit, which he hasn't been. Just don't start him. Just let him recover. I don't know how long that will take, but let him recover. Because that midfield, or the two-man midfield, it just does not help anyone out. And when Will Hughes came on the pitch, it's no surprise that was our best spell in the game because we finally had control there. Second point that we can improve on, and we'll see what happens. Hopefully Munoz is not anything serious, is the wing-back options. If Mitchell is continuing on this form, which he got an assist. What game was it? He got an assist in a recent game. I think it was a home game as well. Maybe Leicester. with crossing to the box. Mateta scored that. I think it was his assist. But despite that, if you look at his season overall so far, it hasn't been great. And I think that, Glazer's already had to answer some questions related to Mitchell and said that, look, he's working on it. We're happy with his progress. But the fact that those questions are there, they're there for a reason. So if Mitchell is not on form, which he currently isn't, I would go bold. I know Hambo, you said Kleiny. I'll go bold and I'll go with a move, for example, of Ume. If you want to, we wanted to keep Ume at the football club as a left wing back option. So if he's a serious option and he's not there just adding up numbers, now is the time. You got one player out of form, bring him in. Bring him in. Give him a go. I'm not saying Ume will be fantastic in his first game, but Mitchell against, I remember Mitchell's debut. Was his debut or at the start of his Palace career anyways? Against Wolves away from home during COVID times, he got absolutely rinsed. He got
Traore,
by Traore. But what happened? He learned. He learned on the go. So for me, I'd play Ume Day potentially on the left-hand side, and right wing back is where things get interesting because, and that is why I'm conflicted whether he should change the system or not, because Nathaniel Klein for me is just a bit scary as an option, as a wing back option. I think as a right centre back option, it's fine, but as a wing back option, I'm not entirely convinced, even though you can have a good game here and there.
Well, Kafora was on the bench today, wasn't he? He's
he's
an astonishing prospect at right back / right wing back. Gets assists and goals getting forward. So if you're going to go Ume one side, why not go Kafora the other side and just go for it?
So and it'll be interesting to see what he does with Nketiah and Mateta. Mateta was on the bench today. Look, this is what I've been meaning to mention. Is keep flying off my head every time I want to bring it up. The reason why we had to play out from the back today is because we simply didn't make any sense to beat the ball up there with Konate and Van Dijk against Nketiah. That's the reason why we had to play out from the back. The best that we can do is we're not winning the header. The best we can do with Nketiah up front is if we lose that, when we don't win a header, win the second balls. But that is a reason. The biggest concern for me was that when playing out from the back, it was, we had the 5 players. We had 3 at the back. We should have played out from the back much better than the way we did. At times, we tried to play out from the back, then just hoof it. Liverpool's press was good, but we could have done a bit better in that aspect. But look, we're talking about a side that is top of the league, and we still had chances. Yes, we got lucky in the first half, not conceding more goals, but I do think we had the better chances in the second half, and we only lost 1-0. Still not good enough. A defeat is a defeat. Of course, you don't get any bonus points because you had a chance or whatever. You have to take your chances. But there are also positives as well. It's not entirely panic mode just yet. You win 2 games right now in the league, you can jump to 10th. Right now, as it stands, you can jump to 10th by winning 2 games. So your season can change that quickly. So it's not like we're game 35 and we're 18th. Of course, things should change ideally, sooner rather than later because we have to be picking up results. However, there are also positive takeaways as well. So for me personally, I'm not going crazy over losing 1-0 to Liverpool because we were never favourites going into the game. But I did think we could have a chance or two, which did happen, but we didn't take it today. So yeah. We've got 2 weeks now. Is it 2 weeks? We've got next week off, and then
21st we're back. Yeah,
to the Forest game.
Just a Monday.
First week, hopefully players get a rest. Second week, we'll work again, and biggest thing is during this international break, Eze, just let him rest. Now Walton, another player that needs a rest, and then the other players that are still at the football club, just work our way around it. There are improvements with slowly, I don't know, even baby steps. I don't even know, feet steps.
Feet steps.
Progressing, but of course we need to make more. We need to make more out of it. But look, people, Lacroix, good today, Hambo. Once again, he was a positive. Gahey as well. Lerma.
There's a few other people saying it as well. I know I said it earlier, but with Lacroix, I think he will be. People question the signing, and I'm always so confused when people question signings after 2 or 3 games, and you can kind of see now him starting to get a bit of rhythm. He's a really good footballer. There was one pass today as well, which is just every bit as good, if not better, than anything Anderson's ever played. crossfield drilled diagonal. Yeah, I think he's a really good player. He still needs to keep switched on for the whole game. I think that's come as a bit of a surprise to him, and I do think that he's a quick player, but sometimes he needs to be because he gets caught out a little bit. Relies on that pace, but really good footballer. Look, can I just say before we go, right? I know you need to wrap up, and I know you're trying, but we have got to kind of draw attention to the fact that you were on TNT Sports today, and people may have seen that. You know, how are you feeling now? You've been on TV and you're all famous and all of that. You having banter with Joe Cole, weren't you? I saw you.
Oh yeah, I'm still the same old. No, but they're great. Joe Cole, Peter Crouch, they're all Jules as well. They're all great people.
Yeah, I mean,
I was on there before the game, and just the atmosphere. I know at times we get caught up in terms of like the performance and the game and whatsoever, but I've seen Palace under previous managers, not even in similar situations, maybe a bit better, but still people not looking forward to games. But today we were facing Liverpool, and people still somewhat looking forward to the game. A lot of people were happy, and I think the reason for that is because I know some people are now doubting him, which of course will naturally happen when you haven't won a game in 7 now, right? Yeah, 7 games. But Oliver Glasner still does give you that feeling of, you know, we're going to approach this game with a winning mentality. Sometimes, of course, it doesn't work out, but it's still refreshing to have that kind of manager. But yeah, today was good. Today was
last question on it though. Did Nick kind of force his way into getting hold of a microphone, or was there some kind of confusion and he just was there?
So that happened.
You were standing next to him, and I thought they would probably talk to you again, but suddenly Nick had a microphone and was talking.
No, that was planned. Nick came down
planned.
it was planned. Yeah, Nick came down for around 11:45. But yeah, that was planned. Just a quick segment there. It was
fair enough.
Yeah.
All right. Just wanted to make sure he didn't bully you and steal the microphone off.
No.
It just looked like an accident. That's all. Good luck to him.
He was better. Yeah, he came down. He was at the ground early today. But look, people, we're gonna wrap up there. My weekend ain't ruined. I mean, it was much more ruined against Everton. Let me just say that. After that Everton second half performance, that was terrible. But we do have to pick up win somewhere. And of course, the pressure's still on everyone at the football club. And naturally, it should be, because we've got high expectation going into the season. But as I've said, I know someone did say in the comment section, D, you're talking about 2 wins. We haven't even won a single game. But I'm saying last season when Glasner did come in halfway through the season, or even later than halfway through, you know, we went on a crazy run of form and we ended up finishing top 10. Like, what my point is, you know, if you do end up picking 1 win or 2, you can go and fight. You're already near top 10. It's still early in the season. That's my point. So I'd rather be going through the struggles right now. And of course, if it's still dreadful and we reach, I don't know, a few months or a few games, or depending on how it goes, then yeah, we can have serious discussions about Glasner. Even now, we're having discussions whether it should change the system or the place. But I'm not worried about relegation just as of yet. That's me, anyways. But before we do wrap up, make sure to check out ComAve, where Crystal Palace can win exclusive awards with the power of e-commerce, as Hambo is pointing out there, top right, you can see the logo. You can also support the channel by supporting them, by following them on X. So if you can do that as we're wrapping up now, by clicking on the pinned comment and following them if you haven't already done so, to be in the chance of future ticket giveaways. We had a giveaway for the Liverpool game as well. Make sure to follow Back of the Nest and ComAve on social media platforms. Thank you to Hambo. Thank you to everyone that's sending your messages in the live comment section, as well as calling into the show. That's it from us. Another defeat, but we survived another day. And enjoy an international break, people. But we'll be back if something goes on during the international break. But until then, up the Palace.
Cheers.